Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that diversity in our courts is a very important factor, and we see once again a very diverse group of nominees, and I thank President Biden for that, because experiential background, racial diversity, I think, is very much needed on our courts. To ensure the fitness to serve of all of the nominees, I ask the following two initial questions of all nominees who come before any of the committees on which I sit. So I'll start with asking these two questions of each of you, and we'll just go right down the line, starting with Judge Belkin-Green. Since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors?
No.
Or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, I have not.
No, Senator, I have not.
No, Senator, I have not.
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
Second question, have you ever faced, discipline or entered into a settlement related to this kind of conduct?
No, I have not.
No, I have not.
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
I would also like to note that the so-called doctrine of originalism is certainly not anything that I would request of any of our judicial nominees. My assumption is that, and what I look for in our nominees is an ability to be fair and objective, and as district court judges, that you will apply the precedent of the Supreme Court. I'll start with a question for Judge Kirsch. You have participated in several panels on prison reentry, and I think you focus on juveniles. I think that's a really important aspect of the criminal justice system, that the reentry of our prisoners into our communities. And I understand that, as you noted, you also initiated a statewide juvenile reentry program. The Board of Prisons ran a halfway house, which closed in 2019 in Hawaii, and I've been trying to reopen this federal halfway house to enable prisoners leaving our federal prisons some ability to re-enter in a more successful way. How important do you think it is for halfway houses to exist within our prison system?
Well, thank you for the question, Senator. I think halfway houses in any aspect to seg an individual from a custodial location and reintegrate them into society is critical and may be dispositive in terms of one's success. And obviously, it's a policy-making decision on how to allocate resources. But in my experience, fronting money up front might save an awful lot of recidivism down the road and help reintegrate folks back into their families and their communities to be productive individuals. So I think it's critically important.
Do any of the other nominees have any experience or have any thoughts about the importance of a reentry program? Anybody else want to add to what the judge just noted? Okay. For Mr. Farbias, yes, like the chairman, I note that you come from a background where your parents were immigrants and who truly came here with nothing. Can you just talk a little bit more about how much that experience really informed your life or career choices?
Senator, thank you for that question. I was privileged to grow up in a house where all four of my grandparents were alive and had grown up speaking different languages than English. I grew up in a household where my grandparents, there were four of them, three of them didn't know how to drive a car, and one was a New York City taxi driver. It was a wonderful and exciting place to be a child. And what I would say is, I remember that, and I carry it with me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if I could itemize all the different ways it's influenced my life, but it's part of what's driven me to public service.
I think that kind of a life experience really informs you what you want to do with your life, and I certainly can relate to that because I grew up here with English is not my first language. So I want to thank all of the panelists and nominees, because I think you will all make very excellent judges. Congratulations to each of you. Aloha.
In the nick of time.